I am Nikolas Giampaolo and I'm a junior business developer for Incubase. Today's topic is alternatives. In 1932, James Bussard, a professor of the University of Philadelphia, made a very interesting study. He studied 5,000 marriages happening in the city of Philadelphia, and he noticed that over 50% of these marriages happened between people who lived about 1 kilometer of distance. So half of the people who found their soulmate in the same living area. And he asked himself, is it possible that you find your soulmate in the same living area? That's, statistically speaking, very unlikely. And probably their choice was due to the few alternatives they had. In today's business world, we have an opposite situation. We have much more alternatives, but studies have shown that we tend to stick with our alternatives. But that's because we are scared of new things, that's because we tend to stick with habits, or just because we don't have the option to go for the new alternatives. I think that for the tip of today, especially for startups, we can learn something from chess. In chess, when you are stuck in a situation, in a very difficult position, you tend to think the second, the third, the fourth alternatives that come up to your mind in order to defeat your opponent. Because if you choose the first alternative that comes up to your mind, it is very likely that the opponent is going to consider this move very predictable, and he already has something in mind for it. So for a startup, it is important that when they have to make a choice, that to consider not only the first, second or third alternatives that come up to their mind, but to go further and analyze what are the pool of choices that they can make. This is, in behavioral economics, is called K-level thinking. And chess players have one of the highest K-level thinking. And now we can learn from that. So for the tip of today, when you are stuck in a situation that we have to consider what optimal choice to make, write down the alternatives that you have. Write down the option that you have. So not only write the second or third alternatives that comes to your mind, but give it some days to think about at least 4 or 5 alternatives, so that when you're presented with the actual choice, you can make the most rational choice.